Thank you so much for coming. My name is Matt Garvey. I'm the Vice President of Communications for the Chick-fil-a Peach Bowl, and it is certainly our pleasure to be here at Ole Miss to present our official invitation event and press conference for Ole Miss's participation in the 47th Annual Chick-fil-a Peach Bowl. We've got a full agenda, but we're going to get to a lot of very important people here talking about a fantastic game and one of the best bowl matchups of the season, certainly. So without any further delay, I will first introduce Gary Stokan, who is the President and CEO of the Chick-fil-a Peach Bowl, for some introductory comments. Gary?
Thank you. You're so kind. Nice round of applause. How many people came over in August to see the Ole Miss Rebels playing our Chick-fil-a kickoff game? Great. And we liked having you so much, we're inviting you back. How many people have tickets for the TCU Chick-fil-a Peach Bowl? There you go. I like that. Well, it's a pleasure to be here, to be with Ross Bjork, an old friend, and Hugh Freeze, who we've got to know over the years from our golf tournament and in the kickoff game. We're just ecstatic to have two top 10 teams. There's only 4 bowl games that have 2 top 10 teams playing in their games. So the Chick-fil-a Peach Bowl in our first year of the new college football playoff is just ecstatic to have number 6 against number 9. Obviously, the game, when you put together a game like this, the recipe for a great bowl game is not only great fans, but 2 teams on the field that will compete in an interesting way. And to have the number 2 scoring defense in the country against the number 1 scoring defense in the country against the number 2 scoring offense makes for a great recipe for a exciting bowl game. So we are ecstatic about that. I want to take a second to compliment Hugh Freeze on his new contract. Thanks to all you guys, and thanks to you, I think Ole Miss is on to really some special things, starting with this game and moving forward in the next few years. I also want to congratulate Senquez Golson and Detarian Shackelford for their outstanding years. Detarian obviously winning the Werfel Award and being the captain of the All-State Good Hands. That's just an extension of Hugh Freeze and the way he handles things. To have a player like Detarian do the things off the field, let alone on the field that he does, is what Hugh Freeze is all about. And certainly Senquez to do what he's done on the field, and that whole secondary and the whole Land Shark defense has just been fun to watch in the first game that we had against Boise State, and we look forward to watching them against TCU, a great scoring. Obviously when you talk about Ole Miss, both Ole Miss and TCU spent a lot of time in the top 3 of the college football playoff. And, with a bounce here, both these teams could be playing, in either the Rose or Sugar Bowl in the national semifinal game. So to have them in our game, I think they're playing the winner to get into the top 5 at the end of the year to be number 5 in the country. This Ole Miss team can do something very special. They can be only the 7th team in 120 years to win 10 games or more. So that's something to shoot for. And when you're playing against the number 6 team in the country, it makes it even more special. Ole Miss has beaten 3 conference champs this year. Beat Alabama, beat Boise State, and beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati won the American Athletic, shared that title with Memphis and Central Florida. Boise State won the Mountain West, and Alabama won the SEC. And also, Ole Miss has had the distinction to be 2 number 1 teams in Alabama and Mississippi State. So what Hugh Freeze has done here and what the Ole Miss Rebels have done is truly remarkable. I think it's an honor to them to be in the first of the New Year's 6 bowl games. I know it was an interesting time on Sunday to wait and see, but we were, as I said earlier, ecstatic to have this matchup to play in the first of all the New Year's 6 bowl games in the history of college football at 12:30 on December 31st in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. We pride ourselves on being one of the most competitive bowl games in the country, where 56% of our games have been decided by a touchdown or less. And I know you probably doesn't want to hear this, but we think with these 2 teams, with the offense and defense they put together, we're in for that type of game on December 31st. We've sold out 17 straight years of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And we look forward to, thanks to what Ole Miss has done in ticket sales, an 18th straight sellout game. It's second only to the Rose Bowl in contiguous sellouts. And I'll let Steve talk a little bit about our charity and our mission of what we do on that side. I will tell you that the per team payout, $4 million, goes to the conference, to the SEC, on behalf of Ole Miss playing in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And there's another $2 million that goes to Ole Miss for the team expenses to spend to come over to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. As I said, we couldn't be any more happier to host you. If you have not been to Atlanta recently, it's a great place to come to during this time of the year with not only great hotels and great restaurants, but our tourism downtown has really grown, led by the new college football playoff that we opened in August. So we welcome you to come over there. And I'll be back up to talk a little bit about the Bowl Week experience, but just wanted to give you a little introduction about the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl this year, how happy we are to be hosting you and the Ole Miss Rebels in the 47th Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. The next speaker today that we'll hear from is representing Chick-fil-A, who is our title partner. And we don't use the word sponsor at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. We use the word title partner, and that really, I think, describes the relationship that we have with our good friends at Chick-fil-A to a T. So we certainly would be remiss without having Steve Robinson represent Chick-fil-A's perspective on this game. So again, let me introduce Steve Robinson, who is the Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer with Chick-fil-A.
Well, thank you, Matt. It's a thrill to be in Oxford. I've missed out on life. This is my first visit to Oxford, and even though it's a cloudy day, it's gorgeous. Believe it or not, this is the 18th year that Chick-fil-A has been part of this bowl game. We're thrilled that we've been able to play a small role in seeing the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl be elevated to the college football playoff rotation. And as Gary just said, we could not be more excited about how it's begun. What a matchup. Well, part of the history of this bowl game that is not going to change is the charitable focus of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Over the lifetime, actually not the lifetime, since 2002, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl has made charitable and scholarship donations exceeding $16 million. In fact, the last 8 years, it's exceeded $1 million per year. And part of the donations that will occur this year includes a $100,000 endowed scholarship both to Ole Miss and another one to TCU as being participants in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So we're thrilled that along with that $6 million coming in the athletic department, that we'll be able to help underwrite some educational support for Ole Miss and TCU. The other thing I would reference, Gary alluded to it, I have the privilege of serving on the board for the College Football Hall of Fame that is now up and running in Atlanta. If you've not seen it, I want to give you a personal invitation. It's turned out to be an incredible experience. It's not just a traditional Hall of Fame museum. It is a everyday, game day college football experience. And so I hope that you and those you're communicating with will remember that it's open, and it's a great experience for fans of any age. Last thing I would mention is don't leave early today because we're serving Chick-fil-A when we're through here. Good to be here, and welcome. Excited to have Ole Miss coming.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. All right, now we get to the good stuff. At this point, I'm going to bring back Gary up to extend the official and present the official letter of invitation to Ross. Gary?
Ross is in the mood to collect checks. He just asked me if I had a check with me for $4 million, too. I do have an invitation letter, though, and we'll make two presentations. One is a presentation to the great athletic director here, Ross Bjork, who's doing so many exciting things with his team at Ole Miss. An invitation to play in the 47th annual Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in the first ever history college football playoff bowl game, New Year's Six bowl game on December 31st. at 12:30 in Atlanta, Georgia at the Georgia Dome. So, Ross, I hope you'll accept this. Congratulations. Thank you. And we have a helmet presentation for Coach Freese's office as a gift to him to congratulate him on a successful season with one still to play against number 6 TCU in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So, Coach Freese, congratulations. You want to get a picture here?
Thank you, Gary. I do know where to find that money, though. The Southeastern Conference has the check. But on behalf of the athletic department here at Ole Miss, we want to obviously accept the invitation. Steve and your team, what you do for Chick-fil-A and the charitable work that happens around this bowl game and in our communities. We so appreciate your mission for providing back. And then, of course, Gary, I had a chance to get to know Gary when I was at Miami. We played in this game in 2004, and I can tell you that very few bowl games run it at the level of Gary Stoken and your staff. And so I know our players and our coaches and our fans will love the experience. We've sold about 17,000 tickets to this game, but I have a feeling that we'll have a little bit more than just 17,000 people there. Rebel Nation knows how to show up, especially to Atlanta. We think it's really a home away from home for us, and we know that Rebel Nation will be excited about the matchup in the game. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Hotty toddy, go Rebels. Thank you.
I too echo Ross's comments on just the excitement that we have to accept this invitation from the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I've gotten to know Gary and his crew over the last few years, and there's simply one way to put it, that they operate, and that's with pure class. And the same goes for Steve and the Chick-fil-A guys. And we obviously have a dear partnership with them here locally, and obviously through their great charitable organization, 410 Bridge, and things which our group will again go to this year over spring break to some villages in Haiti. So we're all in with the charitable work that Chick-fil-A does, and just really excited that our kids get to experience the first ever New Year's Six in a place like Atlanta with the Chick-fil-A Bowl against a quality team like TCU. They're one of the best in the nation. Gary Patterson is one of the guys that I respect the most in this business with what he does and how he does it. Got to know he and his wife Kelsey, Jill and I did on our last Nike trip. And just absolutely are crazy about them as people. And watching his team on tape, I actually texted him early this morning, like 5:30, and I said, how about let's make a deal and you just stay in one base look on defense. And he came back with a little smart comment that he wasn't able to practice today, so that's because of exams, so he was frustrated. But I'm thrilled for our kids, in particular our seniors. They decided when we came here a few short years ago that they wanted to change things. And with the great leadership from our administration and Chancellor Jones, Ross Bjork, and our administrative team and our wonderful fans that have as much passion as anyone in the world for this great place, it's been an honor to watch those seniors lead us to this point. And so it's exciting to see them go out with an opportunity to win 10 football games, to be mentioned in the nation's elite at the end of the year, to continue to build for year 4 of what's going on here. Everything that's involved with that is truly gratifying and very, very exciting. So we're really excited about this again, Gary. Can't wait to get there and get prepared. But on behalf of our football team and our wonderful fans, we definitely accept. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to close this and we'll do Q&A. Talk a little bit about the Bowl Week experience, what you're in for. You know, the kids that I call them kids. I'm going on 60 years old, so I figure I can call them kids. I've got kids older than the players here, but we think the student athletes, the players, really deserve the reward to play in a bowl game. And so everything that we do is built around creating a memorable experience for those student athletes. This is, some cases for the seniors the last time, they may put on a football helmet. So we want to make it very special. So we have a theme that we use, which is live, laugh, and learn. And it's very important to us to, these kids are in college, obviously, so we want them to create memories. So we're gonna let them live great. They're gonna stay in great hotels, get great gifts, eat great food like Chick-fil-a. Just have a wonderful time being with each other this last week of the year. And then laugh. We don't have banquets. We have a family feud that the players will compete against each other, but with a coach on their team in a family feud atmosphere. We have, which is the highlight of our battle for bowl week. Every night we have a competition between the two teams for a WWE wrestling belt that the players really get into, and it makes life interesting day to day because things can get old when you go to practice every day and videos and everything else. And so beyond all the great things they'll be doing, the battle for bowl week is a special experience. We also want to make sure that the players learn. And so it's relevant, obviously, with what's going on in our country right now, when these kids weren't even around when civil and human rights laws were being passed, that we take both teams over to Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Dr. King actually preached in the pulpit. And we have Congressman Lewis, who was 19 years old and in charge of the college part of the movement for civil rights. And he speaks about, being 19 years old, which a lot of those student athletes are, how he showed leadership and how he put on a backpack. And in that backpack, he had the morning of the Selma, when they walked across the Selma Bridge, he had an apple, a book, toothpaste, and a toothbrush, because he knew he was ultimately going to wind up in jail. And as he walked to the crest of the Selma Bridge, he looked down the other side, and Hosea Williams, who stood next to him, said, "Well, John, can you swim? Because looking over there, I'm not sure we want to head over that direction. We might have to jump right off the bridge here." And John, at 19 years old, said, "I can't swim, so I'm going over across." And he walked over across the bridge. He was hit on the head, had a concussion, wasn't rushed to the hospital, but rushed to jail. And by the end of that talk that John gives so eloquently, I've just given you a snippet of it, those kids are on the edge of their seats and can't wait to come up and thank John, Congressman Lewis, and thank him for his leadership, and just ask questions. And then we take them on the rest of the visit through the King Center. So it's very powerful. It's very much a learning experience for a lot of the student athletes. And then we also take them to Children's Healthcare, where they can learn to give back during that week of the holiday season to kids that didn't get home for Christmas, but they're never going to get out of that hospital. And so to learn to give back during the holiday season to those kids is a special learning experience as well. So we're more than just a football game. As Steve mentioned, we believe in charity and scholarship. The golf tournament that U-Freeze plays in, we give $520,000 back to schools in scholarship through our golf tournament. As Matt said, last year we gave $1.6 million back to charity and scholarship through the bowl game. That money could fall in our reserves and our profits, but we decided to give it back to the community that supported us through 17 straight sellout games. We're very active in social media. So I do ask you to look at Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and get involved with the bowl game through all of our social avenues. And lastly, just to kind of put a bow on this, we'd like to show you a video of what you're in for when you come to Atlanta for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So We'll show a short video, and then we can open it up to Q&A. Thank you.